It all starts here at the Jones County Civic Center in Trenton, North Carolina. A conversation between the military and its neighbors over fuel. Hundreds of people file into the Jones County Civic Center for the debut of Project Eastern Gain, an initiative that will create a biofuels industry in eastern North Carolina. It started with bold words from one of the biggest energy users in the country.
We're into biofuels anywhere and anyhow that I can attain some of these goals. I've got to start now, and I've got to move out aggressively if I'm going to meet these goals. And I need your help.
Those goals are new federal mandates requiring the military to reduce its energy consumption by 30% by 2015 and increase its use of renewable energy. Part of that strategy involves biofuels, and that's where local farmers can help.
Rapeseed, granola, I've heard of it in western states. I didn't know what it was. I'd never seen it, but it's a big crop in a lot of areas because a lot of people in this country grow it. But it can be done, and I think we'll probably grow it here.
I think there's a lot of interest, particularly in making biodiesel because it's a fuel that they can use on their farm, but at the same time there's a lot of skepticism just because the markets are so new, and there's a lot of, again, skepticism about how long these markets will be there and how long they'll last.
The symposium is stimulating conversation about biofuels in our region. 250 people from 13 counties showed up here to start that conversation. They're farmers, investors, workforce development, educators, local and state leaders, and more.
Farming the troops, feeding the troops, and fueling the troops is a great thing for us to be working toward, because with the growth in the military that's coming into eastern North Carolina, we need to be prepared for that and to meet the needs of that and to have it prosperous for our region. And this is where we can shine. 3 breakout sessions during the day helped drill down into the process of biofuels. The first session, geared toward business owners and interested investors, talked about biofuels technology, building a business model, and the military as the end user.
The need to preserve working land so they can continue to provide training which provides readiness for our troops. This is huge. This says that not only am I going to buy a gallon of fuel, which I could get for $2.85, okay, but I'm going to pay a little bit more.
The second session focused on the economic impact of biofuels production in our state, some of the regulations that it brings, and the military mission.
Agribusiness in North Carolina from $70 to $74 billion. So that is the bedrock of North Carolina's economy. But also we're here today with the second largest industry in North Carolina, which is the military.
And finally, the Foresters, Farmers, and Landowners session talked about costs and profits of biofuels, the meal market, and planting and harvesting the various feedstocks, one of which is already being grown in North Carolina, and that's canola.
You know, whether we're talking camelina, whether we're talking canola or any of the other crops, but until that market develops or until they can feel certain that when they load their truck up, they can carry it down the street and unload it and get paid, a decent price for their crop. You know, they're going to be very hesitant to get into it, and rightfully so.
Agriculture and the military are North Carolina's 2 largest industries. Biofuels could make them bigger and better.
And the military, I think, now wants to be very active in making sure that we have farms around military bases. They're a perfect fit. And if you heard me, when you heard me speak, you heard me talk about the marriage of the military and agriculture in North Carolina. There are strengths. So if you play to your strengths, most of the time you're going to do very well. So, you know, I hope North Carolina does play to its strengths and use the military's ability to help us protect farms in a way that's going to be beneficial to agriculture.
The military is interested in purchasing fuel. The investors are interested in building plants. The farmers are interested in growing the crop. So something's going to happen to bring all those components together, and so that everybody feels good about it, and we can start growing some crops and making some fuel.
Project Eastern Gain is a partnership between the Military Growth Task Force and the Biofuels Center of North Carolina. And now that the conversation's been started, the next step in the process is to identify test plots where we can experiment with feedstock. The goal being a healthy crop, a good harvest, and a biofuels education for all. For the Military Growth Task Force, I'm Colleen Maloney.